The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Good, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the Phixated Podcast. I am your host, Mike Azalina, and I am joined by a dude who's fresh off the vacay, Regsy Boo. How was it?
It was good. I mean, it was a little last minute planned. We got the boys' passports this year finally, but they took forever. And then trying to find like a last minute trip to an island or something like that with how much flights are and all that stuff just turned out not to be the case. So we decided to head back to a spot in Myrtle Beach that we went to pre-pandemic was the last time we went. But it's great. It's got a slide for the boys, couple pools right on the beach. So it's good. We really like it. We need the boys to be like a year and a half older. And like everything like might be just a little bit easier, but cooping all five of us up in a hotel room for an extended period of time is always a fun kind of.
Yeah. I can imagine a 5-person Regensburg party is.
We even had a nice, like the room it was on the corner. Like it was big. Like we weren't squished like we have been in some hotel rooms, but like still it's a lot of people and personalities cramped into a very small area for an extended period of time.
A lot of stuff happened. How long were you there?
So we left Friday at 2 a.m, drove down, and then we got back yesterday around like 10:30 in the morning. My oldest Cole.
How long of a drive is it?
It was just about 7 hours. Yeah, so we woke up early, got there, before most people were waking up, which was good. And then my oldest did the MLB pitch hit and run here in Baltimore yesterday.
How'd it go?
He got second place by just like a little bit. It was really, really close, but he had fun. He had a great attitude. He hit the ball great. He's pitching. He maybe missed just like one. The kid threw one better pitch than he did, I think was about it. But
second place is legit.
Yeah, all good.
That's really legit, Regs.
Plenty more years to try.
You got that.
No, right. He had fun. It was good.
That's good. That's awesome. I'm glad you had a good time. I'm glad that you guys had a nice vacation. I'm glad that you had a chance to relax. And now we're back to the grind here on the Phixated Podcast.
Yeah, we had to postpone a little bit because I was up at 2:30 in the morning yesterday and drove 7 hours. And then it was just, by the time like 8:30 rolled around, I was like, God, I can't keep my eyes open.
Nah, you were good, man. You know what I did? I just sat there and watched like 3 episodes of Suits.
I heard that you're getting into that show. It's a good show.
I love that.
It's a great show.
Dude. So you watched it?
I haven't seen every episode. I started it and then never actually like got through the whole series, but
okay. Yeah, there's so much that I like about it. I mean, it's super unrealistic.
Yeah.
Super unrealistic. But I love like the bromance, like banter that the two of them have.
Yeah.
It is unlike anything else. So I've really enjoyed it. We actually went to Philly for the first Orioles game.
Nice.
This week. It was the loss. So I am officially now 9-1.
Okay.
At Phillies games.
Still a good record.
It's fine, but it was a game they should have won.
Yes.
And actually I'm going to add to our list of things to talk about the Topper stuff recently. We're not going to talk about it right now because what I want to say to you is this shirt that I'm wearing is new. It came from the Majestic store. I said to Andrea, I was like, I don't have a lot of red.
Yeah.
I have a lot of maroon. I have a couple of navy. Yep. I have some gray.
Yep.
I have one white shirt, but I don't have red. So I want to get something red. Now they had a Ben Franklin shirt that I thought was hilarious and almost bought that. But then I was like, you know what, Andrea, I'm going to get a jersey.
Yeah, this is
I don't do the jerseys.
That's right.
But I did get a jersey. Can you guess? 3 guesses, Regs. I'm giving you 3 guesses.
Okay.
Which jersey I am currently wearing.
Bryson Stott.
And after 2, I will give you a hint.
Okay.
If you want it.
Bryson Stott is my first guess.
No, I wanted to get 2. I was going to get Stotty, but they didn't have any in my size.
Okay. See, I thought that was like a gimme.
Well, just for the number 5.
Yeah, I thought that was a gimme. All right, that becomes interesting.
Now it's tough.
Now it's tough because I thought I nailed it. Oh,
Yeah.
Man.
Stotty, who's going to be a dad, by the way.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats to him and his fiance.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I guess I have to go with Harp.
No.
Okay. That I didn't think it was the answer, but I couldn't kind of leave it out. All right. Do I want a hint or not? I don't want a hint. I don't want a hint.
He doesn't want a hint.
No, I don't want
it. Goodness. All right. The guy doesn't want a hint. He wants to do it himself.
Man. Okay. There's a couple options here.
Give the options.
I mean, it's really coming down to, is it a pitcher or is it a position player is really what it's coming down to. And really a pitcher, there's only 2 options. 3 options. I think there's 3 options at pitcher. But hitters, there's like a couple, but also not a ton. Oh man. See, it not being Stott really threw me. It really threw me. Wheeler. Damn it. Give me a hint now, and I want to guess it. No, don't turn around yet. Now I'm mad. Now I'm mad.
The hint is maybe have seen one of these floating around Citizens Bank Park.
Oh, jeez.
It is not a guy that people are wearing in droves.
Oh. That's so many choices.
He is so far off the beaten path. It's kind of hilarious. And he's a total vibes guy.
I mean, I guess Marsh is the biggest choice, right?
I mean, it's a great guess. But it's incorrect.
It's Alvarado. Oh God. See, I'm like, I missed out on 5 of them and I'm pissed off. See, there you go. That's a great one.
It is for those of you on audio.
Yeah.
It's Garrett Stubbs.
That's fantastic.
So in the corner of the Majestic store, I've never seen it before. But when you go into the Majestic store, you know how you walk straight back and they have all the jerseys on that wall in the back.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to the very end of that wall,
okay,
there is a almost like it's just a stand of random player jerseys. So like Sir Anthony's back there.
Okay.
They have a topper section.
Oh wow.
They have you name it. There's a Sosa section.
Fantastic.
And I looked at Andrea and I was like, there's got to be a Stubbs one somewhere.
Yeah.
So I turned the corner and first right on top. Garrett Stubbs. And I was like, that's it. That's the one. We're getting Garrett Stubbs. Such a vibes guy. We look alike. We're the same height. Probably weigh the same.
That's very true. A lot of similarities.
A lot of stuff happening there. So Garrett Stubbs, the only player whose shirt I own from Philadelphia.
Very good. That's a great choice, by the way.
Thanks, man. I will end up getting a Stott one when my size is out.
Okay. I thought for sure that.
Yeah. It's with the 5, period.
Yeah.
And you know how I feel about the kid. So
of course.
We're going to jump back to the Phillies in a little bit. There's Eagles stuff to talk about, Regs. It's been a minute.
Yeah. Well, training camp has started.
We've been a little bit here and there with the Sixers and obviously all over the Phils. But we are now in bird season. We're at that point, which is pretty freaking sweet.
Yeah.
And clearly high expectations for this team coming into the season. The schedule's hard, but they're a very talented group and they're a well-coached team. And that is already showing itself right out the gate. Have you seen the videos of Nick Sirianni losing his mind?
I saw the one today. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This guy, So someone said the other day that he basically locked himself in the all off season and just like destroyed himself.
Yeah.
Like basically just he was so hard on himself all off season for the Super Bowl loss. And you know, to be fair, they should have won the game.
Yeah, right.
Like, you know, they had it right in front of them. There was a key turnover in there. Obviously not being able to stop him.
Right. One
Yeah,
stop.
not being and again, he's the greatest player
Well, yeah,
on the
sure.
planet. But like that fumble, there's a lot of little things, and then obviously defense not being able. He's beat himself up all off season, so he has come out hot this year, and really on them. And I gotta tell you, man, I like it. You know, he's got the relationships now, so he's just holding them accountable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we're not going to screw this up. He's calling penalties, I guess, if they're pre-snap.
Oh, yeah.
He's calling them out. He's stopping the play and losing it. Like he is.
Yeah,
not
I heard day
messing
one.
around.
I heard day one was a lot of false starts and like encroachment penalties and stuff like that. Yeah.
And today he was losing it on guys doing the rub routes. They, you know, he was talking about perfection on the rub routes. Remember 2 years ago, they would get called for every offensive PI known to man on those rub routes. Not anymore. He is on them right now. So it's I'm glad to see that. And one other thing while we're going through the Super Bowl, while we're talking about that, and I want to just touch on this. I need these guys to stop acting like they're San Francisco 49ers. Like, I don't want to hear the excuses anymore about the playing turf and, you know, the call at the end of the game. Like, let's move on. We're not at San Francisco level. Let's be very
I was about
clear.
to say, I haven't seen a bunch of actual players talking about it.
It's usually when they're asked.
Okay.
Like Brandon Graham talked a little bit about the turf. I think it was last week. And AJ Brown talked about the defensive pass interference. Goddard talked about the turf. You know, it's mostly when they're not coming out and seeking out.
Right.
But it's still, you know, it was a really good freaking Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Across
absolutely.
the board. Like one of the best we've had in a really long time. Let's leave it there.
Yeah.
Like, let's just move along and leave it there.
Yep.
Because the Chiefs earned that game, and it didn't need to be said, Rex. There is, gosh, they're gonna lose this game, aren't they? There was a comment made by Micah Parsons. Did you see it today?
No, I did not.
No. Okay. Micah Parsons said that he thinks that, you know, they're the best team in the NFC because they didn't lose any. We didn't lose a Javon Hargrave and replace him with a rookie was basically what he said. I want to just flash back to that draft night and his response to the rookie that the Eagles drafted when they drafted Jalen. He was, remember, I'm sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
I'm sick to my stomach. All right, buddy, listen, you ain't fooling anybody. Okay. We know how you feel about the rookie. And that's what I want to talk about next. Jalen Carter apparently has just been ripping training camp apart. Nolan Smith has apparently been ripping training camp apart. And you know what? Jordan Davis, while we're at it, looks like he just shed half of his body.
Yeah.
He's just now an absolute monster.
Yeah.
So, Regs, I'm having a lot of fun following the Jalen Carter Smith brigade here. Your thoughts so far?
I think I heard the Philly special guys from the Ringer talk about this after day one. They kind of had a reaction pod to kind of all the news coming out and all that kind of stuff. And they said the same kind of thing, that one of the things that popped out was Nolan Smith and his like speed and things like that. And listen, I'm not trying to put a damper on this. I really hope that these guys are good. I believe that they will be good players. But they did kind of say that, look, if any linebacker who runs a 4-3, like if he's going to pop anytime, it's when no one's wearing pads and he's just allowed to like fly around like a maniac. So look, Is it good that he looks quick and twitchy and like really fast? Like, of course it is. That's great. Do I still think that like they're both rookies and we're going to have to kind of just, you know, be okay with sometimes they're going to mess up. They're going to have to learn how to play in this league. I'm really trying to, I kind of made this overall agreement with myself that like, I got to temper it. I got to take it easy because there are huge expectations. There are expectations on a lot of guys who are very young. Like Jordan Davis is in his second year. Like D tackles don't make huge leaps in year 2. They're not NBA players, and especially at that position, when you look at it in the history of it, these guys take 4 or 5 years to really find themselves and get and start becoming the guys who have a lot of sacks or things like that. Like if they're those kind of sort of transformational players, it takes 4 or 5 years. Whereas guys like a wide receiver could be really good in year 1 or 2, a la Devontae Smith, right? Already showing what kind of impact he can make. So I enjoy that they look good. I enjoy that they look healthy. I enjoy that they look in shape. Hopefully they will just continue to get more and more so, especially from the Jordan Davis side. Hopefully that keeps him healthy and allows him to play impactful snaps and make impactful plays. And I just want it to keep going. I want it to continue. So I'm excited. I want to say I'm excited. I'm not putting a damper on this. I am excited about what's happening. I'm excited about them being back. I'm excited for what they can do. But I'm trying to not again, I'm one person. I'm trying not to heap my own pressure in my own head on the defensive guys in particular, because they are coming in with a lot of hype and they are good players, but stuff's going to happen. They're not going to be amazing off the jump is what I think.
Right. I agree to an extent with the Nolan Smith thing. I think there's a reason he made it to 30. I do think there's probably some sort of injury piece there that is legit. I believe the Jalen Carter stuff is very real. I mean, there were a couple of veterans who they didn't name in a couple of tweets that I saw.
Yeah.
Basically saying that he's just throwing dudes around and they're padded up for that content.
Yeah.
So, apparently today they double teamed him and he both offensive linemen to the ground. And again, rookie, 10th year player, whatever it may be, those are 2 hogs, 300-pound hogs that he's just taken and putting on the ground.
Yeah.
And I don't need him to rack up sacks.
Right.
I don't need that. What I need from him is to make difference-making plays by creating pressure, creating havoc in the backfield, and allowing a breakdown that forces quarterbacks to make mistakes to a secondary that poses James Bradbury and Darius Slay.
Yeah.
Just really creating opportunities for the defense to make turnovers, because that's where they were last year.
Yeah. And it really is that. I think you're absolutely right. I completely agree with that. I think of the 2 we talked about, Jalen Carter has the best chance to have the biggest impact right away. Because of his position, sort of the need that the defense has. We always talk about if there's no room for a quarterback to step up, that's when bad things happen to offenses. When the quarterback has nowhere to step up. And if you have a guy who you've tried to double team and he takes out both guys, your quarterback's going to be shit. What do I do now? Those kind of plays make a huge difference in causing turnovers and causing quick decisions and all those things that cause chaos. And it's the perfect thing because look, Fletcher Cox is not the same guy he was, but that's how Fletcher Cox made an impact and became such a good player. It's because he allowed those edge rushers more time to get to the quarterback. He didn't allow the quarterback to step up and get up the middle because of the pressure and the chaos that he put on, the offensive line. So having another guy like that, along with Davis, who is just a body that you almost have to put 2 guys on, you have to. So that's where all those matchup nightmares happen, right? That's where you cause a one-on-one for a Jalen Carter or even an aging Fletcher Cox. If you're going to want a guy who's a little bit older, but is coming in when hopefully he's fresh, you're going to want him to be in a one-on-one and not having to shove guys around all day. So it's just, that's what I'm excited about, is that him starting to make the plays that Fletcher can't anymore, but still allowing Fletcher to be Fletcher. And then Hassan and Sweat are just flying at people. That's the dream.
My smile right now is for the first time that we get to see Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, and Hassan Reddick on the field at the same time.
Yeah.
That is a complete disaster for the other offensive line. And if you decide, oh, we're just going to blitz Nakobe Dean on top of it, it's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. One other thing before we talk about the quarterback. Interesting thing yesterday, they restructured Derek Barnett.
Yes, I saw that.
And I'm going to tell you Howie season. I see a linebacker.
You did. You were on this from the jump. You were like, something's happening here.
I see a linebacker coming. Who? I don't know, but linebacker or safety is still like that area where I think they're going to try and get better, deeper.
Yeah.
And I can see this being the.
I think for sure linebacker is where they need that kind of depth. Like they need to have.
They only have like 3 dudes.
Exactly.
Right now.
That's what I mean. I think from the safety position, they're really hoping that why can't I'm blanking on his name, but the guy from Illinois has, they're really kind of hoping that he steps up and is playing well to kind of match him with Reed. It looks like
I got to say the city. Well, and they also have the guy they brought in, Terrell Edmonds from Pittsburgh.
Yep.
But looking at pictures of Sydney the other day, like the team photos, he looks like he's an 8-time Pro Bowler, right? Like if you just look at the kid, he screams Pro Bowl safety.
Yeah.
So my fingers are crossed that that's what he is. We'll see right away. I think he's going to get some shots early.
Oh, I think so too.
Let's talk about the quarterback. As per usual, impresses in every sense of the word.
Yeah.
His presser yesterday, they asked him, have you given it any thought? And I don't know if you've watched the but the documentary on Netflix, Quarterback.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to tell you. Have you watched it?
I have not.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to say. Patrick Mahomes is who you think he is.
Yep.
He is who everything's very natural to him. He works hard, but everything's very natural to him.
Yeah.
Also not a great judge of women. Just going to leave that there. Mariota didn't do a whole lot for me.
Yeah, not shocking, but fine.
He's just kind of a guy.
It's season 1, they're getting some access to people. It's all good.
He's kind of a guy.
Yeah.
Like I did enjoy like his whole conversation about like the sausage egg that made. And I kind of felt badly for him throughout everything he went through last year. But I actually think I like Kirk Cousins after this.
Wow. That's a shocking revelation. I thought you were going to say, and Kirk Cousins is the tool we think he is. Like, that's
he's just like you. He's so likable.
Is he?
His whole family is likable. His whole family is likable, Regs.
That's a shocker.
Top to bottom. My favorite parts of the show were Kirk Cousins parts.
That's a shocker.
I like, all honesty, full transparency, I actually might like the guy.
I might have to watch it just because you just said that.
I want you to so you can see what I mean. Like he's actually like, he's a cool dude. Anyway, I'm getting us off track, but I want you to watch it and report back.
I will. We will talk about this.
So they asked Jalen Hurts on Tuesday or can't remember when it was, whenever he had his interview, about whether or not he's considered being on it. And he was like, no, they asked me. It wasn't the right time last year. And then they followed up and they were like, so to be clear, they asked you last year, but not this year. He goes, no, I said no both years.
Yeah.
And then he went on to say, like, the main thing is the main thing. And we know what he means. The main thing is the Lombardi.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like, you're going to have people that come at you the other direction and say, well, Mahomes did it and he was fine. Well, he's Pat Mahomes.
Mahomes has been in the league. He's won how many of these now? 2? 3?
That was 2. Yeah, 2. And I think from a Jalen perspective, it's his first year is he started the year before. It's his second year as a starter.
Yeah.
And I think the focus was on, look, we got these guys now. We can make a run at this. And I think the same bodes for this year too.
Mm-hmm.
he is a very focused, laser focused player.
Yeah.
Who look, he has to talk to media all the time. Add media following you everywhere.
Yeah.
Seems like a pretty private guy. But moreover, I think this was his way of saying that my story is going to be told at some point. This isn't it. This isn't when. I'm a third-year starter in this league. It's not time for me to do it. But it continues to impress he's just so likable and so easy to cheer for because of moments like these where he doesn't feel like he's bigger than the situation. A quarterback in his position that would say yes and jump at the chance is someone who I feel like believes they're bigger than the situation. The three guys who are on the show are all veterans who have done this for a long time.
Right, exactly.
Mahomes being the youngest of it, but the most talented.
Still, right.
Right? Like he plays like he's a 10-year.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'd have to look. Mahomes has been around.
It's
like
been
5-6 years now.
at least.
And Kirk has been around for a long time.
Yep.
Kirk was around before I got married. He's been around over a decade.
Yeah.
And Marcus was drafted like the year we got married. So, these guys have been around for a while. They're not new to this.
Mm-hmm.
So them having people follow them around and go through the motions with them doesn't feel different.
Yeah.
But I could see certain players that would be like, yeah, follow me.
Right.
Come for a ride with me. And that's just not Jalen.
Yeah. I mean, to relate it back to a pod from the other week when we talked about sort of the Embiid Sixers culture, and I brought up the Tim Duncan and Spurs culture. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's like, this is what that is.
Yeah.
This is your leader having laser focus on the only objective that matters.
Yep.
And when you hear that from the guy who's your star at the most important position on the field, every other player, no matter their status, no matter their veteran status, has to look at that and say, well, like, this is the standard that we're all held to. And I don't think we could say enough about his sort of focus and his innate leadership ability. Like, that's what this is. This is innate leadership ability. The key part of leadership is selflessness. Like, it's not about me. I succeed when everyone around me succeeds. That's what leaders do.
Yep.
And that's what Jalen Hurts does. That's what Jalen Hurts believes. And like you said, in a marquee position in the most popular sport in our country, where most guys would say, well, look at me. I'm the star quarterback in a major market of a team that just went to the Super Bowl.
In a very difficult place to play.
Yeah. So I just continue to be impressed by his innate leadership ability because not a lot of people have it.
Right. At such a young age, too.
Yeah.
He's
part of it.
I think he's 25. But either way, he's got an understanding of what it takes. And it doesn't, going back to your conversation earlier, it doesn't start with him. It starts with the guys who knew well enough to draft him. And we criticized. We did. But Howie and Laurie know good fits to the culture that they want when they see it. And we're starting to see that roll more and more around with their drafting of Bama guys, their drafting of Georgia guys, programs that win and programs that have head coaches that set a standard.
Yeah.
And they've got a head coach who sets a standard.
Yeah.
So he's symbolic of all of that.
Yeah.
He embodies all of that.
And
he shows out. It's not talk.
Right.
He walks it.
Right.
Week in and week out, day in and day out. He's the first one in, the last one out. He's all of those like leadership nuances that we talk about. Those really easy things to identify that we make, that we put in bold on the resume.
Yeah.
That's who he is.
Yeah. And I think Sirianni isn't able to coach the way he coaches without Jalen Hurts being the leader of this team.
Yeah.
And guys like Kelsey and Lane Johnson and guys who are just about handling their business the right way. Add Fletcher Cox, add Brandon Graham. You know what I mean? Like there's more guys than just Jalen Hurts.
A guy on the roster and they do it.
But look, the downside, if there is one, to drafting guys like that from these pedigree schools who are these 5-star recruits, like guys like Jalen Hurts and Nolan Smith and Devontae Smith have always been the studs. Mm-hmm. And when that is who you are for so long, like that comes with an ego. We talk about this all the time. Professional players have egos bigger than you can imagine because they have to. They have to believe all the time that they're when they walk in a room, they're the best athlete, they're the best whatever they are. They have to believe it because you have to have that kind of confidence to achieve the highest levels of sports. But do you think a guy like Jalen Carter, and I don't think, I'm not saying that these guys are innately this way, but even a Devontae Smith or an AJ Brown, these guys can't step out and call out Sirianni or their coaches or things like that when they get on them. When they see the Jalen Carter, the guy who's getting paid the most money at the most high profile position, if this is how he acts, this is how it goes. So it again, they might not think that all the time. They might be pissed off that someone's talking to them that way. That ego might start to creep in, but also in the back of their heads, they have to be like, well, Jalen just took it. And Jalen is saying this stuff. I can't call him out. I can't go to a reporter and call this out. What does that look like? Who does that make me look like? So it's just how you create the type of winning and the type of culture that we love to watch.
I think one of the other pieces to that, and you're talking specifically about, a certain, certain guys, right? You mentioned the car, and I know you don't mean them specifically, you're talking in generalities,
right?
But with those guys specifically, and I think this is why they're starting to draft a certain, if you come from a Kirby Smart program or a Nick Saban program, you're used to getting coached that way.
Sure.
That's how Nick Saban coaches.
Yeah.
That's how he talks to you.
Yeah.
If you're not doing your job, you're going to hear about it. Even if you're the freaking reporter that talks to him at halftime, he's going to let you know.
Yep.
Kirby Smart is cut from that same cloth. He coaches you hard. It's why they win. And, I'd really love Rags to be the first team to repeat as NFC East champions. In how many years now? It feels like it's been forever.
A while. Yeah.
And know how tough it's going to be because I understand the schedule.
Right.
But I do believe the talent on this roster I think they're more talented this year than they were last year. Because someone said it today, I didn't even think about it. You want to talk about Javon Hargrave? If Javon Hargrave was all that, and would we have had to go out and get Linval Joseph? Would we have to go out and get Ndamukong Suh? I understand how good Javon Hargrave is. Please do not get me wrong.
Yeah.
I know how good he was.
Yeah.
But the Eagles did not want to pay him. And they had to go get reinforcements because he couldn't be on the field all.
Yeah.
So what did the Eagles do? They went and drafted heavy at that position.
Yep.
And they brought back guys and they brought in some bigger dudes, some older veterans to help stabilize the position. But they're not ignoring it. Also, we don't talk about Milton Williams, who still exists.
Yeah.
They're fine. And I do believe that they're more talented, but I think this roster is in a good place because of the leadership, not just Nick Sirianni's leadership, not just Fletcher Cox's leadership, not Howie and Jeffrey, but because number one, he wears it. He does it. When you've got veterans that believe in you the way that guys believe in him,
mm-hmm.
Veterans, I'm not even just saying veterans, I'm saying future Hall of Famers who have been around a lot of greatness. When Fletcher Cox feels that way about you, when Jason Kelsey feels that way, Lane Johnson, these guys are future Hall of Famers. All three of them
mm-hmm.
will be in Canton. And they all feel very, very certain that he's a guy. There's a reason Jason Kelsey keeps coming back.
Yeah, right.
because he knows he can win one more Super Bowl
Yep.
with Jalen Hurts.
Absolutely.
He knows he can.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go from a team that we hope to be winners to a team who just won. The Phillies have begun their 14 games of much needed winning with a W tonight. Was it pretty? Not by any stretch.
No.
Could it have been a lot better? 100%. Do I give a shit? No. They won the game 2-1. It doesn't matter what it looks like as long as you have more runs than the other team. And the Phillies, Zach Wheeler was absolute masterful.
Yeah. Literally what?
I mean,
a small blip in the fourth, maybe. That was about it.
Yeah. Leaving the bases loaded, we could have guaranteed that. Actually, the game should probably be tied, but they didn't send much in.
Yeah.
Wheeler was tremendous.
Yeah.
Kyle Schwarber was on base 5 times.
He was.
Kyle Schwarber was on base 5 times tonight.
Yeah. We won't talk about the guy behind him.
No, we're gonna. He's actually on the list. We're gonna start with the schedule. We usually don't start here, but we're gonna start. The Phillies have these 3 with the Pirates, and the pitching lines up really well for them. With Nola against Priester tomorrow. Don't ask me who that is. And then on Sunday, Sanchez, who's been probably their best pitcher.
Can we just pause for 1 second? He's been fantastic.
Riggs, I actually think he's good.
But like he's again with not his best stuff as a 5th starter who's sometimes been prone to like absolutely losing it.
Yeah. Riggs, I think he's good.
When you give up 3 runs as Christopher Sanchez, you've done your job 100 times out of 100.
Yeah, no, I think he's really good.
Like it's been
I don't think it's
fantastic.
I don't think it's an illusion. I think he's good. I think Christopher Sanchez finally figured out that if he throws strikes, his stuff is good enough to get people out. He went 7 against the best team in the American League.
Yeah.
And a good 7.
Yeah.
7 innings of 2 runs, Regs.
Yeah. Really good.
He was really good. And that's a team that's been putting up runs.
Mm-hmm.
That Orioles team. You know, you live out there.
They've been great. Like they're fun. I watch them on off days. They're really fun to watch.
Yeah, they are. I had a blast watching them this week. So he pitches Sunday. They have a real shot to sweep.
Yeah.
With what they have in terms of their pitching. Then they go to Miami for 4. And then they come home and they have 3 with Kansas City and 4 with Washington. Those are their 14. Now they do have 3 at home after that against Minnesota, but I'm talking about these 4 series.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a 14 game stretch where they can really create separation.
Yeah.
What are you hoping to see out of these 14 games? What record would you be okay with? What record would you say that's?
Here's what I want. If you're asking me what I want, first and foremost, sweep the Pirates. The Pirates aren't a good team.
No, not right now.
I'm gonna say take 2 of 4 from Miami.
Yes,
just give me 2 of 4. So that's 2 losses right there.
Yeah,
and then I hope that you can sweep the Royals because they're terrible.
I mean, you have to.
They're just terrible, and then 3-1 against the Nationals because I think the Nationals can get 1.
Sweeping a 4 game series.
So that's 3 losses in, like you said, in 14 games.
That's 11-3.
I want 11-3. If there's any more, if they get to 5 losses, I'm disappointed.
I will say this: 10-4 would not be the end of the world.
That's what I said. If they get to 5 losses, I'm disappointed because it means that the Nationals or the Pirates or the Royals beat them when they shouldn't have.
10-4 is good. A split with Miami would be great. I will say this: I really need 3. Like I need it. A split would be fine.
I'm with you.
But I need 3.
It's a nightmare house. And let's be like, we're going to talk about this still, but like our offense is still not great at the moment.
No, I mean, there's flashes, and then they do what they did.
We can do it against the Pirates and the Royals and the Nationals, but like, it's not going to work against the Marlins through 4 games.
Yeah, so I think we're in agreement. Like a 10-4 trip through these 14, and then like they still like it doesn't get difficult really. You know, it really just kind of stays at like this like nice layer of we can beat these teams.
Yeah.
At least till they get to the Atlanta series in September. You know, that's when it you have to buckle down a little bit.
Yep.
They have the Mets a bunch in September too, but the Mets are going to look very different come September. Very different. They've already started selling. So, you know, Verlander's going to be gone.
Oh my
likely.
gosh, you want to hear a great Scherzer quote that somebody just came out with?
Please.
That will just, I know it'll make you smile.
Does he say Brandon Nimmo's a terrible teammate?
He doesn't, but it's like very similar. Where is it? I can't not have it. Oh, here we go. Max Scherzer was unhappy with the trade of David Robertson and said he needs to have a conversation with Mets brass about their vision for the organization. Just made me smile.
Yeah, you win and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, it just made me smile.
That's really what it comes down to. But some of these 14 games it's going to come down to offense. They're gonna have to out hit teams.
Yes. And
that some of that is going to be there needs to be a change made now.
Yeah. This is it. This game was it.
Well, and Topper said it.
Thank God.
He said it before today. You know, he's putting him back in the he thinks 2 days off is good. If it's not, then they're gonna have a different conversation.
Newsflash, it wasn't.
It's time to have a different conversation.
Right.
I've been a Trea guy. I'm still gonna defend him and saying that this is such a mental thing for him right now that it's I think 2 or 3 shows ago I said this is not like Nick Castellanos. I think we're at a point where it's actually worse than Castellanos.
I think so too.
And you got to get him out of a spot where there's pressure.
Yeah. And having this many at bats, like you gotta
change it.
Yeah.
You just have to.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that starting tomorrow, Trea Turner's going to be hitting somewhere around 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Now here's the question, because Casty is also struggling.
It's really not great.
So do you move Bomer to 2?
Yeah, I think you go Schwarber. I would put Stott there, but I know he said he doesn't want 3 lefties at the top, so he's not going to do that.
You can't do that.
Yes, I think you go Schwarber, Bohm, Harper, Castellanos, Stott, Turner, Real Muto, Marsh Cave. Like if that's what you're trying to do.
Okay. Yeah, I do believe that trying to get your younger guys up toward the top a little bit more is important. Now they did it with Stott and he's been really effective.
Yeah. I
think putting Bohm at 2, he's hitting the ball well. You know, I understand people's issues with power and stuff like that.
No, but look, at the 2 spot, somebody put this really well. It's like Schwarber is who he is. Something like it's going to happen. He's going to hit a home run. He's going to strike out. He's going to walk. You just need someone who's going to put the ball in play at that next spot. Because you have to keep it going. Like, even if Schwarber is going to strike out, you're essentially the leadoff hitter. So you're just there to, like, get it going again. And Bohm, like, I know we want more power, all these things. Outside of Stott, Bohm is probably the best guy to just put the ball in play and get on base that this lineup has right now. And I get it. You're kind of taking him out of the RBI situation for the start of the inning. But, like, with how the bottom of the lineup is still hitting, he's going to have those chances still.
Think about Turner came up with runners on base like 2 or 3 times now.
Right. That's what I mean. Exactly. So it's really just for one. It's for one half of an inning. Especially
when you decide, you know, when you make a trade here in the coming weeks for a dude who's going to play left every day. Yeah. And you know, depending on who you get, if it is a guy who can play every day, maybe that guy can hit too.
Yes.
You know, I got the perfect guy in mind to the top of the order. I just have the perfect guy.
Just stick around to hear that, folks.
Yeah, stick around and we'll get to it. So I do believe, though, to drop Trea.
It has to be.
Does that mean he has to stay there?
No. Absolutely
not at all.
Yeah, absolutely
not at all. He does not have to. But for right now, I think you have to take some of the pressure off of him.
Yeah.
And give him a chance to reset a little bit. And that's hitting somewhere down at the bottom of the order for him. And I understand the salary. I get it. I think that's part of the reason Toppers tried to keep him there. But
I don't subscribe to that sort of. Listen. I'm not saying this to you because I know you understand this. I'm just sort of saying this to the larger world. I understand that to a point, but like you're paid based on it's based on performance.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is not like you're paid the most, so you get to like stay in that spot for a reason. Like if AJ Brown was dropping every ball that was thrown to him, he wouldn't play the same number of snaps. Like he just wouldn't. Name a running back. If Derrick Henry was fumbling every 5 times he touched the ball, he wouldn't touch the ball as much. Like this is how this stuff works. I understand that you're paid a certain amount but that's based on past performance and expectations and all those things. But you can't just ignore the fact that you're hurting the team. And something has to be done so you can get out of it. So I get it I know that's why you're absolutely right. That's why he still is at the top of the lineup, but it has to change. It has to change. Something has to happen.
And it's going to. I believe Topper is going to make that change tomorrow. Now, I will say Topper has not had the greatest of weeks. Yeah. I don't understand what happened on Monday. I don't know if he was just asleep in the dugout.
It was a very weird game.
I've said it on this show numerous times. Said it when Girardi was here constantly. That you should not ever notice the manager.
Yeah.
If a manager's going to win you a handful, they're going to you. But if you notice them, it's not a good day.
Yeah.
And Monday night, I'm sitting in the stands and I'm miserable.
Yeah.
Again, I don't mind losing baseball games. You're going to lose a ton of baseball games. Simple as that. You'll win 30, you lose 30. It's 100 that matters.
100-win teams still lose 60 some games.
Correct. Yeah. So it's going to happen.
Right.
My issue was the way it happened.
Yeah.
The lineup he put out. My goodness.
Oh, yeah. It was...
In no world.
Yeah.
In no world should all of those dudes not be playing on.
Yeah.
In no world.
Yeah.
You're just sacrificing it.
Yeah.
And you don't do that in the first game of a series. You do it in the third game after you've already won the.
Right.
That's when you put out the sacrificial lineup.
Yeah.
You don't do it in the first game, especially against the team who's the best in the other league.
Yeah, right.
And their fans are about half the ballpark.
Yeah.
So, luckily the team picked him up and won the next two. And then there was the not challenging the Rojas play. And I'll give him the benefit that he didn't have. Well, he's been pretty.
I was about to say that hasn't happened a lot. So I think
he's been good about challenging.
I'm gonna believe it that they just whatever angle they needed didn't happen within the window. I agree that it's a mistake. Like it's just a flat out mistake.
Yeah.
But this is not a trend. This is not a reoccurring thing. So I think he gets the benefit of the doubt.
No, and I think if they win the game or if he, manages the game the right way, no one has that.
Yeah. This was a like cherry on top of it already.
But then not pinch running for sure.
Yes.
Field is what really cost them.
It did.
And that just ate at me. It just ate at me. Like, because his reasoning after the game was, well, we want Kyle's bat in the lineup for extras. Oh, I mean, it's not like Brandon Marsh can't hit.
Right.
The guy has been, based off of OPS, the best hitter on the team.
Yeah.
I understand that you want Kyle's power because he can come up and pop one at any time. I get that. But at that point, you've got to get to extras.
Right.
And Kyle's defense is not assuredly getting you to extras.
Yeah.
So it was a very confusing managerial effort from him.
This happened a lot in the beginning of the season. It felt like he was overthinking everything. Like he wasn't just sort of relying on his instinct as a baseball guy for 40 plus years.
Right.
It was just a lot of overthinking and over managing and just over complicating things that it didn't have to be. It's like you said, that defensive substitution is like a manager 101. You know what I mean? It's like you said, you have to get to extras. Like if you don't get there, it doesn't matter. It makes no difference. And that's what happened, right? That's what happened.
Yeah.
So I understand, like, yes, it's a reasonable thing to say, but it's just one of the, again, we haven't seen it a ton. The beginning of the season, we were seeing it almost every day. And you and I talked about it. Like, it was wild. Like what he was doing. It was not a good day for Topper. Let's just say that flat out. I'm not defending him in any way here. It was not a good day for Topper.
It wasn't. And someone, I don't know who I saw say this. It made me laugh though, because they were like, this is Topper trying to show the bench help by playing this whole bench in this game.
I mean, but
I don't think trade deadline looming.
It's pretty obvious, so I don't think you needed to show anybody what's going on there.
Very, very clearly.
Yeah.
They need some.
We're aware of Josh Harrison's batting average. Like, thanks.
Josh Harrison's not it.
Yeah. Thanks.
Not it. Yeah, he's just not it. So speaking of the deadline, unless there's anything else you want to add about it.
No, I'm so excited to hear what you have to say here. So I cannot wait.
I don't know, Regs. It's a weird deadline for me. I struggled all night with this. I played with a couple of different things. It's a weird deadline for a couple of reasons. It's weird because there are like 7 teams that are selling.
Yeah.
Coming into today, I thought 8, but the Cubs continue to win. And I don't know that they're going to sell now. So that takes Stroman off.
Yep.
It takes Belly off. You know, maybe one of them goes. I don't know, though.
But it's going to cost more than it did a month ago.
Right. So I think there's like 7, maybe 8 teams that are selling right now, and 2 are in your division.
Yeah.
Now there was an interdivision trade today. The Marlins getting David Robertson, who will probably be lights out.
Right. So he'll have 3 saves in our series with that.
Unbelievable. So I'll start here. So that's one reason it's weird. The other reason it's weird is because I can't really land on outside of a right fielder, or I'm sorry, a right-handed out, what the Phillies should do.
Yeah.
Because, a month ago we're saying, oh, we need to figure out the 5th starter.
Yep.
And I kept saying, well, you're not going to get a 5th starter. You're going to get someone in the middle of the rotation. Well, now I don't know that I even want that.
Yeah.
Because Chris Sanchez has been so good. Now, here's what you could do. You could essentially do some sort of like 6-man rotation the rest of the year.
Right.
To avoid burning out Wheeler and Nola.
Yeah. Which is, you have to truly consider that, because it happened.
We saw it.
Right. Exactly.
We saw it.
Yeah.
So, you could consider doing something like that, but it also, the counter to that is they're not as like fresh in that 5-day rotation. So that get to the playoffs and they're pitching on, 4 or 5 days, whatever. It might not feel as natural. Now they've done it their whole career, so that might not be a great point, but it is something. So yeah, and then there's the bullpen, which has been absolutely freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
All year. Like all year. They have gotten big innings from so many guys.
Yes.
Including Hoffman, who just came out of freaking nowhere, this guy. But it's a position of strength. You got 4 dudes who just throw gas. Now that Kimbrel's throwing 97, 98 again. Do you go and get one more guy?
Yeah, I have a thought. Yeah, I have a thought on that.
So give me your thought, and then I'm going to go into the.
My thought is that I'm a little worried about Jose. Like the injury keeps popping up.
But it was different.
I'm knocking on wood because I'm trying not to be doom and gloom, and I'm not trying to put any bad juju out there.
Yeah, I get it.
But kind of getting some insurance that isn't Junior Marte or Jeff Hoffman as like a playoff option. Because like, look, this is the regular season. Things are different in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if it's possible, saw that last year. Exactly. So if it's possible to get a guy who maybe has a little bit of experience, things like that, to maybe just be another option for one of those guys who might be coming in a very big situation in a playoff game. Like, I can see why that might be something they're looking at. Getting
one more dude to take the load off of Alvarado
Yeah.
and Dominguez in the playoffs is really important.
Yes.
I mean, Soto is one of those guys, but it wouldn't hurt to have another righty who comes in 100.
Yeah. Or again, if this, like, knock on wood, if this Soto thing continues to be a lingering thing, like, you need a lefty that can get lefties out. Like, this is what.
Yeah. Well, I might have that.
Okay. Listen, I'm all
So-
ears.
So here's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to tell you the guys that I just don't want to see dead.
Okay.
Not that I consider them untouchables. I think only one of these guys I would call an untouchable right now.
Okay.
And it's not Andrew Painter because he can't trade him.
Yeah. Right.
And that's Mick Abel.
Yeah.
I think with the Painter stuff going on right now, you have to keep one of Mick Abel or, McGarry around. And I think if you're going to trade one of them, it's probably Griff.
Yeah.
So, I have Abel as the guy that I don't want to touch. The other one that I have here, and again, not an untouchable, but someone I don't want to see go, is Carlos De La Cruz.
Yeah.
We don't have a ton of right-handed power in the system. He's a big righty who can play both corner outfield spots, can play first base. And I'd really like to just see how he develops. Like I'm not ready to see him go.
Yeah.
So he's another one that I kept here.
Is he in AA right now?
I believe he is.
Okay.
Yes. I had it up a minute ago, and
I'm pretty sure that's right. I just kind of was confirming that.
Yeah, I believe it is too. He's in AA.
Okay.
The other guy, I have two more. One of them is three technically, but yeah. William Bergola, shortstop in Clearwater, right?
Okay.
I need you to look him up.
All right.
This dude, his approach, his ability to understand the strike zone at the age of 18 playing in Clearwater. Yes, 18 playing in Clearwater. And his ability to make contact. I'd have to look up his strikeouts. But the dude does not strike out.
Hold on.
I'm pulling it up. Here it is. He has struck out 10 times in 120 this year. 10 times in 122 plate appearances. He has walked 18 times. He is currently hitting, it says 250 for the season.
That's what I got here as well.
But his on-base percentage is 358. All right, at the age of 18. He's playing, and I believe I'd have to double check the bio. I don't know if it says anything.
At 17 years old, he had 380.
Yeah, it used to say what the age difference was at the level they were at. It doesn't
negative 3.1 based on Baseball Reference.
Okay, so he's 3 years younger than the dudes he's playing against.
Yeah.
That's pretty freaking good.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's a guy that I'm really interested in keeping around. A 55 hit tool. There's like no power to him. Hopefully he can grow in it. He kind of reminds me of like Arraez doesn't hit the kid from the Marlins, Arraez.
Oh, yeah.
That's who he reminds me of a little bit in that. There's not a lot of power, but he makes a ton of contact. So I'm hopeful for him. The other one that I really like is Gabriel Rincones Jr., who is currently playing at Jersey Shore, High A. He's 22. There's a lot of power here. There's some good power here. What, like at the end of the day, if they trade him, will I cry tears?
Yeah, right.
No. Sure, no. Again, not an untouchable. Just a guy I want to see stick around a little bit. I like that they're developing these outfielders. You think about Muzzati, you think about Rincones, De La Cruz. Like there's development.
Yeah.
These guys are putting up numbers.
Aiden Miller looks
those
like a monster.
Yeah. Oh, well, good God. Yesterday, 3 hits in his first professional day. And that swing is that swing is so reminiscent, like Ryan Braun.
That's what Fritz said. And I was like, oh my God, he's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Short and quick.
Yep.
And so much power.
That dude was a nightmare.
Well, I mean, it is look, it's going to be really nice when he
Yeah.
helps into the player that he's going to. It's freaking awesome. And then, of course, obviously, I don't want to see you, but
Yeah.
I could see it happening. I avoided it in my deadline. That doesn't mean they're going to be all.
He's your boy, so I
He's
understand
always
that.
been my boy.
Always.
All right, so, first deal. I have two.
All right.
Okay, this brings back a pair of Jordans.
Okay.
Jordan Montgomery and Jordan Hicks come to the Phillies. All right. For outfield prospect Marion Boyd. This one killed me. I got to make sure I say his name right because I never say it correctly. How Yu Lee.
Yeah.
Second base prospect, who I really like. And Griff McGarry. It seems like a big package, though, and that's why I was having trouble with the show. You're essentially trading your 4th and 5th prospects in addition to your 12th prospect for 2 rental. But that's where the market seems to be.
Yeah.
Dombrowski tends to win a lot of trades. So could he essentially win this trade without giving up both Lee, Boyd? For sure. There's probably somebody else that he could dig into. I think about the Soto trade.
Yeah.
And what he gave up to get Soto. And believe that there's potential to get this done without all 3 of those guys. But I do think Boyd and McGarry would make a lot of sense. Now, let's talk about the other 2. Jordan Hicks is the guy we just talked about. The dude who's going to come in and throw absolute gas.
Yeah.
He throws like 103.
Yeah.
Control's always been an issue.
But still, we have a history of helping those guys.
Right. And he's not going to have to pitch every day.
Yep.
But essentially what you could do, Regs, is deploy any combination of Alvarado, Soto, Dominguez, Hicks, and Kimbrel.
Yeah.
And it allows for Kimbrel not... The other guy you can consider here is Helsley.
Yeah.
Or Helsley. From the Cardinals. He's another dude you can consider in a deal to come back. Because you're just looking for guys who can take down that 9th inning. They're going to have to give Kimbrel.
Yeah.
If you want him to be effective come October, he needs to
again, but like
right
the
now.
Offense needs to help him. We need to start being up by 3 or 4 runs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Now tonight, if the rain delay doesn't happen, it's possible that they use Soto in the 9th.
Right.
It's very possible because Wheeler might go the 8th.
Right.
And then Jordan Montgomery, really interesting pitcher, had kind of lost his way in New York and then went to St. Louis and was really good. So here's my thing, though, and I'll go back to what I said earlier. I don't really want Christopher Sanchez not to be in the rotation.
Yeah.
But come playoff time, Jordan Montgomery is like lefties do not hit. Period. End of story. If you look up his splits, he kills left-handed.
Yeah, that's huge.
So, if you get him and he starts for you until the postseason, at which point you decide who the hell is going to pitch in those games, then he becomes a weapon for you in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Where you can bring him out to face lefties.
Right. Or if you need 2 innings, like.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely. So again, I kind of cheated a little bit in getting both things. And that's not to say he won't.
Yeah.
He could very well find a way to get a reliever and a starter. As a matter of fact, I think it would be very intelligent of him to do that. And this is Dave Dombrowski season. Trade deadline season is Dave Dombrowski season, period.
Yeah.
This dude loves this time. So he's going to do stuff. It's just what?
Yeah.
And that's one deal that I see potential. And maybe not both, but I could see them. The Cardinals feel like a team that we can pluck from.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd anticipate a Montgomery, a Hicks, a Helsley, like someone like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who can help the pitching in some capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's my second one.
You're already smiling as you said it.
Well, I've been talking about the guy for 3 weeks now. So I got the Phillies sending Justin Crawford and Christian McGowan to the Nationals for one Lane Thomas.
Crawford, huh?
Greg's, yeah. And here's why. They're set right now in center field. The kid is talented. There's never going to be power.
Yeah.
It's basically Ben Revere.
Yeah.
He can hit, he can play the field, he can fly.
Or his dad.
His dad had a little power.
Well, yeah.
A little. I'm fine with doing that. You get 3 years of Lane Thomas, and you still have this collective of outfielders.
Yeah, that's true. It is.
You've got Pache, you've got Marsh, you've got Rojas. Like you've just got dudes up and down, and it's not like you don't have other guys in this.
Yeah,
like they exist.
Yeah,
and you'll continue to draft there. If we were out there searching for an outfielder or center fielder, you know, down the line, I'd feel differently. But like Rojas is still there, and you can find ways and still develop him in the meantime. Now, that being said, could Rojas be the guy they trade instead of Crawford? Sure.
Yeah.
But I've seen Crawford's name pop up. Rincones is another name that has popped up a couple of times. So maybe he's the guy that goes. But Lane Thomas is perfect for this team.
Yeah, I like that guy a lot.
He is perfect for what they need right now, especially with Trey Stretch.
Yeah.
He slides right into that 2-hole.
Well, yeah.
I mean, he perfectly into that 2-hole.
Yeah. And as a right-handed bat, it's huge.
It is so, he is the ideal fit.
Yeah.
For what they need right now. I don't want to hear about Adam Duvall. I don't want to hear about oh my gosh, who's the dude in the Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah.
I don't want a guy who strikes out like that.
Yeah.
We have enough of that. I want a guy who is going to play good defense and is going to make contact and be productive. Lane Thomas is that guy. And we can see the difference in Kyle Schwarber not playing the field every day.
Oh my goodness.
He's a totally different hitter.
It's crazy. Yeah.
He's a totally different hitter.
Yeah.
So we need a dude who can go. Look, if you were thinking let's give Jake Cave every day at bats right now and see if we can get him a platoon partner.
Yeah.
He ain't it.
And look, he's got 16 home runs. That's as much as Teoscar has. It's like when you're talking about the pop that they're looking for, like this guy's got it.
He's perfect.
Yeah.
He's perfect.
290, 338, 482.
He's perfect.
Yeah.
And he doesn't fit their window. He fits our window.
Well, yeah, because I think he's under contract for what? Another
2 years.
Yeah. Yep. At 27.
Perfect for this. Yeah. He is perfect for this team. And he adds the top of the order bat who can do a lot for you on the offensive side, play fine defense in left field. Just go get him. He's the guy I want at the deadline.
Play more than play a pretty good left field. Like there's absolutely nothing wrong with his defense.
Right. I'm just saying like it's I think Cave's probably a better defender if I'm being honest with you.
Sure. That's fair.
But I'm not worried about him out there late in the game.
Yeah, right.
And I'd much rather have his offense every day.
Yeah.
I'd much rather his offense.
Absolutely.
This pushes Marshy back to ninth, hitting 280.
Yeah.
And still getting on base at a good clip.
Yep.
This allows and look, I'm going to even go on a further limb, right? And people are going to think I'm nuts. But you could essentially put Trey at ninth and just make him a second. Like, just let him hit 9. There's no pressure there. No one expects anything from him.
Yeah.
And if he starts figuring it out, now you've got Trea Turner on base for Kyle Schwarber. You've got him on base for Lane Thomas. You got him on base for Bryce Harper. Like, that's something you can consider if you get a guy like Lane Thomas, who lengthens your lineup further.
Yeah.
That should be the target.
Yeah, absolutely.
That should be the target. And it probably takes more than what I have. It's so hard to know.
I don't know though. Like, again, like, he's a good player.
Yeah, but it's in division. It's
look, it's a seller's market, so it's going to take more than we probably think.
With 7 teams selling,
yeah,
it takes a lot.
Yeah,
I believe that if the Phillies are going to take the next step, if they're going to truly be World Series contenders, they need to add one more surefire piece to this offense. I think he's the best guy out there. Now, is he available? I have no idea.
Yeah, right.
But they're a last place team who is nowhere near competing.
Yeah.
They're not close. Like, they're not a year out. They're not 2 years out.
No.
They're 4 or 5 years out.
This guy is too old for them. Like, at 27, he's too old for their window.
So if you're the Phillies, you call and you say, look, who is it?
Yeah.
How do we get him on our roster?
Right.
And it's not like they have to look at it and say, well, he's going to kill us for this. Because he's only going to kill you for 2 more years, and then the Phillies are
Yeah.
Because they have corner outfielders all over their system.
Yeah.
This is not rocket science. This is the guy who should be a Philly. If he is a Philly come next week, come Monday, Regs, we're going to have some talking to do.
I can't wait.
We're going to have some talking to do because this is the guy I want.
I very much want it to happen.
I am locked in on Lane Thomas.
Yeah.
And I feel like we talked about it here first. Go back and look. 3 weeks ago, I mentioned Lane Thomas on this show.
You did.
And then all of a sudden, the next day,
I paid attention. And then I paid attention to him when we played him because we played him like a series later.
And he's so good.
And he was really good.
He's so good.
And I think I texted you. I was like, okay, I'm in. I'm all in on this guy.
He's perfect. The next day, it was like people were tweeting it all over the Regs. What is happening?
Yep.
What is happening? So that's where we're at. In my ideal extraordinary. And I do think that makes the Phillies right up there with the Braves and the Dodgers in terms of who can win the NL.
Yeah.
I do. I believe that. I think
very excited to see what happens.
It really adds a layer to this team that they don't have. And it's scary. They can be very, very scary. Yep. So that's where we're at. I got to tell you, man, in terms of a Phixated, I don't know that I have a whole lot other than like, this is one of my favorite times of sports year. I love this time of year because baseball is sort of in that like, all right, now we're in it.
Yeah.
The trade deadline's here.
Yep.
And the playoffs we are rolling.
You got to figure this stuff out.
Like it's time.
Yep. This is what you got. Like after the trade deadline, this is what you got, man.
Yeah. And then it's football.
Yep.
Then it's football, and here we are. So, and you know how I feel about like a Sunday Eagles game into a Sunday night baseball.
Yep.
Or Phillies play at 1, Eagles play at 7 or 8 o'clock.
It's the best.
There's nothing better than it.
Yep.
There's nothing better than it. I will say though, one of the things that Andrea that was really hard to hear was my traveling and how that's going to impact.
Oh man, that's right. Your Sundays.
So I am going to try and set up travel for like middle of the weeks.
Yeah.
So that I can stay at home and make sure that because that's going to break me.
That would be tough.
That's going to break me. So far I'm not traveling on any like Sundays when football starts.
Yeah. And not to be selfish, but like, since I live in Maryland and don't get to watch all the Eagles games, you're like my main way to understand what's happening. They scored a touchdown. Azzy, what the hell happened? How did that happen?
The other piece to this is, how do I make it so that I get there in time for the Eagles?
I mean, that sounds like a lot of red eyes.
I mean, it's either that or, the other thing is that I talked about is maybe I'll figure it out. But this has been going through my head a lot since it was mentioned to me that I'm going to have to like figure that out. And then I considered, when Phillies make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Cause I am set on them making the playoffs. Then I got to like navigate that and like,
oh man,
make sure that I'm settled in.
Yeah. And like,
wherever.
Also we pod after every playoff game. So like, there's a lot to do.
It's a different, we're going to navigate. We're going to be okay.
No, we're going to be fine.
But there's a chance that I could be like in another state when they, clinch.
Yeah. I mean, listen, luckily those will be national games. So like,
yeah,
you'll be able to watch them wherever you are. That's the best. That's good.
I won't have to worry about that. Yeah, that's a very, very good point. That I won't have to chase down games.
If it wasn't, I would give you my MLB.TV password.
The other good news about it is like I can, if they play at 3:30, end the training at 3.
There you go.
Yeah, like that's always a possibility.
Listen, we have options, is what we're saying. We have some options.
My Phixated turned into I love this time of year to I'm really nervous about all
how
of the things.
Am I going to watch all this?
I'm gonna have to start like looking at the playoff schedule to make sure. Oh
man, that's funny.
I gotta look at my October schedule to see when I'm traveling because
that's funny.
It's gonna be terrifying if I miss, if I'm missing games.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, especially if I'm on the West Coast.
Right, and they're starting at 4:00.
And it's 1:00 on the West Coast. That's
no, I mean like if games are starting at 7 and it's only 4:00 West Coast time.
That's not a problem. But if they start at like 4, like sometimes you know what I mean, they would start at like 1.
Because if there's a bunch on the slate, right? Yep.
Yeah. So that's a whole nother consideration that going into and I actually am in California the second week of October. I'm in California for 4 days.
We're gonna have to start figuring this out, buddy.
I'm not feeling good about that. I don't feel good about it at all.
This turned into this is my favorite time of the sports year into this is a nightmare. What is going on?
This is not good. The second week of October, I am in California.
Oh man.
I am not good with this. This is a struggle.
I'm not laughing at you. You know I'm not laughing at you.
Well, here's one thing that I'll say. The season ends on the 2nd, I believe.
Yeah.
This year. So the wild card round will probably be that week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm here that week.
All right.
I'm not going anywhere.
All right.
So we're good there. It's the following week if they get to the divisional round.
Yeah.
That I'm going to be, struggling. But hopefully they get some later games. Otherwise, it's not going to be good. I'm gonna be really having a hard time.
Oh man.
What is that? That's 2 games probably that I'd miss.
It kind of depends on the schedule, right? Hopefully they would get
play.
Yeah, hopefully they would get
maybe they play the Dodgers.
Maybe.
And then I'd be, for at least 2 of the games.
You'd be okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. We'll just have to cross that.
Yeah, that's right. Let's not worry about things that haven't happened yet.
I mean, but they're gonna happen. They're gonna. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us. That's my fix about the playoff schedule. Really concerned about it, ladies and gentlemen. Really concerned about it. Oh, baby. All right. Well, we appreciate you listening. Make sure that if you're watching us on YouTube, you click subscribe right below us, and then go to wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe, follow, rate, do all of those things. You can follow us on Instagram at B&B Podcast. Same thing on Twitter. You can follow us at the Phixated Pod on Twitter. Regs, we got to get back on that.
Yeah, we do. That's a very good point.
Send me that.
I'm going to. I'm doing it tonight.
I'll get back on it. I'll start tweeting.
Yes.
And then follow me at the Mic Drop 5 and Regs at Big Z. then you can follow us on the at the Phixated fan page on Facebook and click the merchandise link in the show description below. All right, y'all. Well, hey, next time we talk to you, the Phillies will look a little different. I will drop videos once I see whatever trades make.
Yeah.
If a trade should happen, you know, in the midst, just be patient. We'll drop the video as soon as I'm able to record it and give my reaction. But I'd anticipate come Monday, you're gonna have quite a few reactions from me. Now, I will be on the West Coast on Monday, so Sunday and Monday. So I'm gonna be, you know, a little behind, and so you might not get it until the. That being said, take care of yourself. Take care of one another. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. Go Phils. And Dave, bring me Lane.
All hail Dave Dombrowski.
Oh my God! Deep to right field, way up there and way out of here.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.